Shalom everybody, Shavua Tov, Rosh Chodesh Tov. Yes, it's a brand new Hebrew month. It's the month of Elul. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, with me, Rolene Marks, from a very hot and humid Israel. And just as hot are the top stories making headlines. So let's get straight to it and take a look at what those top stories are. And we begin with Friday's news that Hezbollah, who have claimed responsibility, fired 19 rockets from the south of Lebanon towards Israeli sovereign territory. Now, 10 of those were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome systems. 6 of them fell in empty spaces, and at least 3 fell short inside Lebanon. Now, this is the first major escalation we've seen from Lebanon since the Second Lebanese War, and this follows a short spate of rocket attacks just several days before. The United States State Department has condemned it, and the IDF responded by striking launch sites using artillery fire. Now, just hours after this, Israel saw several arson balloons sent from the Gaza Strip into the south of Israel that set off at least 4 fires. Our Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has said that arson balloons or arson terror will be treated exactly the same way as rocket attacks. And this comes at the same time that the new Iranian president was inaugurated, President Raisi, known as the executioner, somebody who is seen as much more of a hardliner than his predecessors, if that is even possible. And it is no coincidence that we saw this happening, because at the same time that rockets were fired and arson balloons were sent over, Raisi was hosting terror leaders from Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas who were there for his inauguration, saying to them that the Palestinians are one of the top issues on his agenda list. Now, Israel ended our Olympics in Tokyo in extremely amazing style. We say a huge mazal tov to our golden girl, Linoy Ashram, who brought home Israel's second gold in these Olympics for rhythmic gymnastics. She is the first woman to ever win gold for Israel, and wins Israel's 3rd gold medal. Now, I found out something quite interesting, that Linoy Artem Dolgopiat, who won the gold in the Tokyo Olympics for his gymnastics, and our previous gold winner, who was a windsurfer. Yes, windsurfer is an Olympic sport, and yes, we do take gold for that. All come from the town of Rishon LeZion. And as our Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said in a cabinet meeting yesterday, he says, I don't know what you're doing in Rishon LeZion, but obviously whatever you're doing it right. But this win wasn't without controversy. After the scores were given, and after all 4 of the events, that is hoops and clubs, ball and ribbon, where Linoy actually dropped her ribbon, it was feared that maybe she wouldn't be able to be eligible for the gold. However, with cumulative scores, she won the gold and unseated the hot favorite who took gold in the European champions, Dina Averina from Russia. But now the Russians aren't too thrilled about it. They say that there's no way that Ashram should have won the gold because she dropped her ribbon, and accused the judges, and this is according to RT, that's Russia Today, of maybe wanting to unseat the Russians by giving the win to Israel. However, if you look at the event and you look at the scores, Ashram scored much higher than Averina in the other 3 events, and there is video footage of Averina still taking a gold at the European champions, even though she dropped her ribbon. Now, on the RT broadcast, they alluded and accused the judges of being Jewish and making sure that Israel won this, therefore unseating Russia, because Ashram is the first non-Russian in 29 years to win gold for this particular event that is dominated by Eastern Europeans. So is it sour grapes or spoiled losers? Whatever it is, at the end of the day, Israel was a winner, and we are extremely proud of Linoy Ashram and all of our athletes, and we cannot wait to see what Israel has in store in Paris 2024. Now, next story is one that should make the mainstream media, but doesn't for some bizarre reason, and that is that a luxury Gaza seaside resort was attacked by people identifying as Salafist ISIS supporting terrorists. Well, of course, they're not going to call themselves terrorists, but this is who they were. They threw explosives at the luxury resort because they refused, or they didn't hold a concert that was segregated by gender. This is not an uncommon occurrence in these type of areas where fundamentalists seem to be encroaching closer and closer. And our final story takes us to Greece. Israel has sent a delegation of 16 firefighters to help battle tremendous blazes around Greece. And we have offered similar help to Turkey. Turkey has yet to accept our help. And we really hope that in those two countries, the fires come under control soon. So those are our top stories making headlines today on the Israel Brief. But don't forget, you can check out our original content online on our website at www.layoftheland.online. I have an article up called "Is Human Rights Watch Targeting Israel?" It seems to be the case. Their director is obsessed with Israel. Why Israel at the expense of other conflicts? I mean, surely they would be focusing on events like the bombing of the luxury resort in Gaza. But hey, go read it for yourself. It's also up on our Facebook page. If you haven't already liked or followed us, please do so. And if you like our content, please share it. We're on YouTube at The Israel Brief. That's our channel. Hit that red subscribe button. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. So that's all from me, Rolene Marks, today. It's very hot and humid. My brain is melting. I'm sure many of yours are too, but I wish you a safe and a healthy rest of your day, and we'll chat again tomorrow.